Howdy, howdy, Frosty10 here. So now we have the the aftermath. We've had our big info on the Twitch stream and then later on the website about all the content in Path of Exile 0.30, Path of Exile 2, the third edict, which comes out in 8 days, 7 hours. And I'm just going to jump into a character and talk about, in particular, this build. So I want to talk about companion builds and how we survived somewhat, I'd say pretty damn well, from all the nerfs. So there's a huge amount of nerfs, and a big focus of the next update is trying to get people to use elemental infusion to do elemental, like to do fire spells and stuff. So let's grab an uncut skill jam and then have a little talk about that quickly. Also, we're getting a whole bunch of new currency. So we're getting I'll focus on the things that I think matter. Obviously, watch the whole thing for yourself, but I'm just going to focus on things that I think are interesting. So we're getting upgraded, well, greater orbs of transmutation, tiered 2 and 3, and then we're getting greater exalts and perfect exalts, and greater regals and perfect regals. Are you getting perfect regals or just greater? So we're getting way more currency, but it's better versions of the currency we have. It's going to be really interesting how the new currency exchange works with all the new currency. So you'll be able to say you have a whole bunch of different stuff. And whether it's gonna, I don't know. I feel like one of the things you can do with the currency exchange, which I don't know if people would agree with, but I'm just going to say this is how I think they should do it. They should actually have set amounts of certain currency. So I know Amira's, you can leave that alone, leave that to players, but I think some of the currency shouldn't actually be player-to-player trading, in terms of people want to float their idea, they think they can buy this or that, and then people have got something for them to buy. You have a stock for people to buy with the currency that they're willing to trade for it. I think there should be at least a minimum amount that's always in the currency exchange so that the transaction can be made. So you don't ever feel like you do, oh, I want to trade Orbs of Alchemy for Divine Orbs, and it's like, nah, of course not. Maybe one. Maybe it's 50,000 Orbs of Alchemy for one Divine Orb. I think that there should always be a way, as long as it's not 10 million Scrolls of Wisdom for a Divine Orb. Even then, though, that's a lot of Scrolls of Wisdom. Is it worth doing that? It's a lot of gold. So, I mean, yes, I know if you do that, bots can do all sorts of things. But I do think there's room for it, because with the addition of more currency, with the perfected, like perfect Chaos Orbs, like perfect Exalts, I think are going to be more important than Divines. Yes, Divines are important to finish a build, but a perfect Exalt is going to be exactly what you need. So what is a perfect Exalt? It just guarantees you get a higher tier. So you get the maximum tier of things, or close to, when you do an Exalt on something. So you can look at your tiers and you can see, oh, you're going to get tier 5 or get higher than that, like a tier 10 or whatever it is. So that's the thing that matters. It's like, this is a tier 3, you can get tier 4. I think you can get tier 5 is 100%. I mean, so a perfect Exalt would give you more likely to get tier 4, tier 5 of this specific instance. So I want to just preface that, you know, some of them are slightly better than others. Like here, it's still the reverse here. Tier 1, I know it, we've reversed the things, didn't we? So tier 1 is the best. Oh my gosh. Why is everything so complicated? Because they went one way and then they went the other. So say tier 1, you're more likely to get +4 to minion skills with a perfect Exalt Orb on a Scepter. Keeping it simple. So that means that perfect Exalts are going to be absolutely the most important thing to buy. That and perfect transmutes. Maybe perfect transmutes will be better, because then you'll be able to do your transmute. You'll be able to do your orb, perfect or greater orb of augmentation. You'll be able to get a higher level roll. Maybe that's a better way to do it. yeah, I'm glad that they're adding new avenues to get higher tier roles, but I kind of disagree with the whole nature of the system. In terms of, I think items shouldn't be tiered. You should just be able to get any item at the level you're at, and it should be similar to what level you're at. So you can get all that. You'll have higher tier rolls on weapons that drop at higher levels. Is basically my gut instinct about it, which means you wouldn't drop level 16 uniques in tier 15 maps, and they could just bugger off. But back to, so it's kind of going to be a big change, particularly with the other part of the change, which is we'll be able to have a shop. I'll explain. I mean, you would have seen it, but if you haven't seen it, we're getting a kind of like this, but better. So way better. So before, you would set your note. Okay, I want this much. So I want this many Orbs of Alchemy, this many exalts for this piece of trash item in my stash. And then you set it, and then it sits there, and you're like, it's 25% movement speed. It's like got nothing else of value on it. It's trash. No one's going to buy it. Fine. But if someone did want to buy it, they send you a notification. It pops up in your screen. You have to run back. You have to exit your map. You got to go over it, grab it out, and then take it into your inventory, and then be like, oh, okay. Then you run over to them, and they oh, where are you? Teleport to my hideout, and you teleport to their hideout, and you go back and forth. Where's their location? Because they're not in the same hideout as you. One of the issues with the trading, I think that hasn't been talked about enough, is that that you're not in the same hideout. So if you have a different hideout to them, they're in the different hideout. Even if they jump in your game, it's stupid. This is some stupid stuff with the hideouts. Honestly, I'm a little bit worried about how it's going to work with the iteration. But now, once you get to Act 4 and you unlock it, you'll have a merchant lady. Alva's pissed off. Bugger off, Alva. And you'll have... God, she's useless. And you'll have a new option here, where you'll be able to, with gold, list things, and people will be able to go on the trade shop, and they'll be able to teleport. They'll activate a button and go, oh, I want to get that item. And they push the button, it teleports their character to the person's hideout. They can look at the stuff they have for sale. So everyone will be a merchant. If you want to be, of course. If you want to participate, you're in Trade League, obviously. So everyone will have stuff that people can buy. And they'll be like, oh, I'm going to buy the thing that I wanted to buy, that I saw. But maybe I'm interested in something else you've got. Like, look at this item. I mean, it's 210 energy shield. It's got 25 cold rest. That's a pretty low roll. It's corrupted, so you can't do shit with it. But at the same time, it's got 2 sockets. You can put the double movement speed, because it's got 35% movement speed. You get a 45% movement speed if you have the talisman special things for it. And it's got a little bit of int. It's got some rarity. It's not shit. It's not great. But maybe you'll buy that if someone set it at a nice price. And you go, I'll buy that too. And then, oh, maybe I'll buy that too. And they can buy it instantly and then bugger off. And they can do it while you're offline, while you're sleeping. So we don't have to worry about time zone differences and people listing an item and then it just staying there and all that shit. So much better. Honestly, you could have very niche items that you think are not worth much because you're like, I don't see it listed. I can't find that exact replication of that instance of an item that has obscure, how many decks, it's got cold lightning res, but it's shit. Maybe someone can make it better. This is the thing. I think the biggest door is opening for people who know how to craft properly. They'll be able to take an item that looks average and they'll go, oh, I can actually make that better. And they'll fix it. So the people who flip, who take something and make it great, are going to absolutely profit like crazy. Now, the only other thing that happens, of course, is maybe you'll have rings and things like that. Very specific instances, people need certain things in their build, will be able to find the solution to that, I think, a lot better. And the key to people being able to asynchronously trade is it's something that we wanted forever. It'll come to PoE 1 too, eventually. Is that it opens supply. We get more supply. So one of the big problems people have with trade is it's shit. So they don't want to interact with other people. They don't want to be forced to interact with other people. No one likes forced society. And this is a big thing. This is a massive Massive thing. If you let people not interact with each other, there's going to be a fair chunk of people that are going to choose to not interact with each other. And that currently was to avoid trade entirely, and now there's a pathway to avoid people entirely, but still trade and enjoy the game and get interesting stuff. Like, this is a pretty item, but if someone doesn't have anything close to it, they just buy this for a couple, I don't know, 10 chaos, 20 chaos or something. Maybe I'm being generous to my own self. And they'll be able to buy that and be like, oh, this will get me through to a certain amount of levels. I mean, it's level 70, so you're not going to, I don't know if you're going to go to level 70 to 80 with this crap until you get something better. I'm trying to find some items that are like actually good examples. Maybe they need an exact amount of spirit and they've got like, I got room for some crap. I think the people who have premium stash tabs like this one and turn them into like a full-on market will make for great merchants. I think the hideout warriors are going to be feasting, and it's fantastic. I really like to see this sort of encouragement for people to be, oh, this thing is shit, is it? I'll list it. Maybe someone else will like it. I got like crap here. 50% increased bow damage with bow skills. Someone can craft with that. You know, why not? Why not? Why not just let people have a chance? You gotta get hiding that bullshit. I think it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And look at all my shit. I mean, like you go into here and go, oh, maybe some of this stuff is crap, and you're like, oh, there's a breach ring. I'll just buy that. And they don't think. And you buy it, I need that. Oh, it's got 3 sockets? I'll buy that. Oh, it's some rarity. Oh, it's a Venter's Gamble that's absolute dog shit. But then again, is it dog shit? I want to have the minus 32 lightning res, because that can work on builds where you want to have the same res as the monsters around you and you lower your res on purpose to do more damage. So you'd be like, oh, that's actually perfect for me. Because you get a little bit of spirit. It could be better, as always, but is it good enough? That's going to be a big thing about the trading, is that before, on the trade site, you're trying to pick something that's actually, it's perfect. You want to find something perfect, but at the same time, you had to balance the price. Here, you're going to jump in, you're going to buy something that you want, and you're going to look at all this other stuff and be like, it's not perfect, but I can do something with it. It'll do for now. And that's going to get the economy going and going to get currency moving. We'll have more supply because more people will be willing to just chuck a thing on there and put a price and not worry about it. And someone else will buy it and they're not even paying attention. And they'll come back and be like, oh, I've got 20 exalts. And they won't care. There's going to be a lot of players who just don't care about trading that'll still perhaps engage in this. And then the economy will grow and grow and grow. And I think it's fantastic. Huge, huge W. It took a long time. The teleporting to the hideout part of it is interesting, and I think it'll be... We'll see what happens. I think the people who will suffer the most, and they might benefit the most on the flip side. I think streamers will suffer the most in trade, because whenever they go to buy anything, other people will jump there and buy it first. They will get trolled by people buying and sniping the stuff first. And I don't think there's a lot they can do about that, unless it's something really expensive. And then on the flip side, when they offer to sell things to people, I think people will buy it. I think the fans of the streamers will buy their stuff, even at silly prices. So I feel like they get the negatives, they can't buy anything, but they get the positives. They'll be able to sell everything. That's one of the interesting things. Whether or not the hideout stuff's going to work, I kind of like the idea of maybe it's not in your hideout, maybe it's like a different space or a different instance, so you can't see people in it when they're buying from your own merchant tab. They won't be able to, if they can't see, you can't see them, they're not logged into your area. I think that's better. Like the illusion that they're in your hideout buying from your merchant is what we go for here. We have an independent space, a multiverse, and then people will be like, oh, okay, I'm just buying, then they leave. They don't think about, they're like, oh, the person's not there. He or she isn't there. Or what? Isn't there. And it's like... Because the idea of 8 people being in your hideout while you're, in the instance and then crashing it and all that sort of shit. Hopefully that's just... Like, we do some Hollywood magic. Now... That's the big things. Currency. More crafting. Trade. We have nerfs, which I'm going to focus particularly on my build, but I'm going to say the stat requirement reduction is fantastic. So they're going to reduce... here's a good one. So instead of needing 205 dex, it's going to be, I think, 176 or something stupid number. But 175, 176, reduced by 25% across the board, stat requirements, which gives us a lot more room on the passive tree, which they're adding nodes. You can't see them here. But every screenshot they showed, they always made sure to never, ever, ever show the companion bit here. So I'm a little worried, in all honesty, that it might have been... They may have made changes to it that they didn't mention. Possibly, but I doubt it. So I'm going to make this video in mind that they didn't do that. Because if they did, I'm a little worried. But they showed like this part, and then like they showed like this part like 15 times. The spear thing, they love this bit. But they didn't show my dog. So hopefully it's okay. Hopefully. I'm assuming it's fine. Because the build is very niche. So the build I'm talking about is companions. And basically you have 2 companions because of trust of kinship. Which they didn't mention they're changing. So I'm sure it's fine. You say you have 2 companions of different types. You have 30% less defenses. So it does hurt your defense. Companions have +1 to each defense for every 2 of that defense you have. So they get evasion, they get armor, they get energy shield. The interesting thing is that I'm not sure they'll get deflect. So the new mechanic for evasion is that you get deflect, which is essentially suppression from PoE1. And you can stack it, and it gets like, what was it, 40% damage mitigation or something. Okay. Yeah, I think it's 40%. But the point is, it's an extra layer of defense for evasion when evasion is one of the strongest defenses. It just doesn't work against the boss slams. So, like, if you roll well, evasion is fantastic. If you don't roll properly, you're not doing your Dark Souls style gameplay, then you get punished. But with deflection, you're not getting punished as much, which is a positive thing. The other thing that they are changing, I do want to mention, is accuracy. So, accuracy rating is not going to matter for minions. They're going to hit. They're always going to hit. So you don't have to worry about accuracy, which is fantastic. And they're buffing accuracy of close combat melee skills, which is like... And lowering the evasion of enemies. So just taking that burden away, because it's just painful to have. I don't know if they're going to change a lot in terms of the companion nodes. I'm assuming they aren't because it hasn't been written. But you know how GGG are. They'd like to do a lot of changes. The most significant changes they'll make are ones they don't talk about. And that's usually how it goes. And with that said, there's still a huge amount. Like Grim Feast is returned. But instead of granting energy shield, it now allows you to collect remnants from your dead reviving minions. Then activate the skill to instantly revive minions based on their max life. I can't see any situation I'd ever use Grim Feast as it's been created. So, what changes on this build? Effectively nothing. Effectively nothing. If the passive tree remains the same, it is the same in every way. Which is a massive, massive, massive positive. The other thing you can do, because we'll get new currency with the perfect... the perfect jewels, perfect exalted orbs, is we'll be able to improve jewels a lot better. And jewel crafting will be so much better. It's going to be crazy. And we have the abyssal thing. So I don't know how we'll go with the abyssal stuff. But I don't know if that's going to integrate into the build. The only thing that I think is that... Let's talk about Ritualist. So the ascendancy that I've used on this companion build is Ritualist. And I think Ritualist has one good thing about it. And that's it. The big change they're doing... Oh, it's already done. No, I'm joking. It's right here. So they're doing... As the Whispers ask, they're getting rid of As the Whispers demand. So that it just does that from the start. I think that's what they're changing. What else would they change? Yeah, I think that's what they're changing. So you just get the ritual sacrifice is like sorted out. But having said that, the charms don't matter until they fix charms and add 6 charms. Ritualist is pretty much irrelevant in terms of that sort of stuff. Increased life recovery, yes, like whatever. These two are absolute no-go. And so you just get 30% reduced max mana. The whole point of Ritualist, you just get the extra ring slot. I don't think I could recommend Ritualist, except if you want an extra ring slot, just because it makes life easier. But apart from that, it's not really a... I'm going to go down to it just to make sure. Oh, the essence rework is huge. So that's something I talked about in my video about 0.3, is that they changed essences. They did exactly what I wanted them to do. So instead of upgrading a normal item, it gets the magic modifier thing. So instead of adding a modifier of a certain tag, essences now add a specific modifier, depending on the tier of the essence and the type of item it's being applied to. And so you can do lesser, normal, and greater can upgrade a magic item to rare, adding a guaranteed modifier. And perfect essences an essence obtained through corruption or remove a random modifier, and it augments a rare item with a new guaranteed modifier. So essences are actually back on the menu. Huge essence thing. Fabulous. I wanted to talk about the end game's made easier with the splinters. So let's use an example. If we got a delirium, so now we'll have just splinters. We won't have like a simulacrum. We'll have just splinters, and then you can put them into the machine in the Atlas, and then you'll be able to choose your difficulty. So that'll also free up all of our Atlas tree passives, and we'll be able to not worry about, you don't get difficulty there. So there'll be no more difficulty on these, and also it's easy to get the first 2 points, so you don't have to struggle. So we'll be able to get some nice stuff. I'll actually be able to get like those two. That one would be nice. Yeah, so we won't have +1 to logbook difficulty. You'll have, I think one of them they're adding is +1 to the logbook level, which would be good. And I think they're getting rid of the boss in Expedition and changing it. I think that was one thing. Oriath, they're thinking of getting rid of him. There's so much in the freaking notes. But it's a big positive thing. I'm really happy that they outline exactly how to get the bossing ones. So you just have to get the... which one is it? To get a crime map boss Atlas passive points has been adjusted. They are now obtained by slaying a map boss in an area level 79 plus map that has at least 6 modifiers. Slaying a map boss in an area 80 plus map that has at least 6 modifiers. Slaying an anomaly map boss in an area level 79 map that has at least 6 modifiers. I don't even know what an anomaly map is. Slaying a Citadel map boss in an area level 79 plus map that has at least 6 modifiers, and then completing critical fan quests. Or at the Origin of the Fall no longer spawns in logbooks. And mysterious anomalies can appear on the Atlas, which is the other part they're adding to endgame, where we'll have, let me just go on the Atlas. So we'll have like glowing shit, like near the desert, we'll have like a storm, and then you have to do the 3 maps around it, and then you do the map. It's kind of like a special map, only you have to do like the 3 like towers around to juice it. The towers are still there. They still believe in towers. We'll see how long that belief lasts. The big change though, waystones. They're going to fix them. I'm so glad. This is one that everyone talked about, because it's just like, how stupid could you be? Just go back to PoE 1. And they did. They've agreed. They've agreed. So now we'll have rarity and drop chance and pack size in the top part. In the part that you don't re-roll. But you do re-roll the affixes. So all of the prefixes and suffixes affect rarity and item drop chance and things. So it's like PoE 1. It'll go back to being awesome, and we'll be happy. We'll be happy forever now. We're all good now. I mean, we're good until they just scrap the whole Atlas thing and go back to the other Atlas thing. It's fine. Huge. So, anything else I want to mention? The difficulty things can be interesting. Arbiter of Ashla has infinite tries, infinite portals, so that's going to be really positive, I think, in terms of the economy. Being able to buy those items would be much better. The one nerf. So we did get one nerf. We got one positive, though. I want to mention the positive first. We're positive, and then we'll go the negative first, maybe. In the player changes, we've got fire damage no longer inherently has a chance to ignite. Instead, it inflicts flammability on the enemy based on the damage dealt. Flammability is a debuff that lasts for 4 seconds and grants fire damage. All fire damage against the enemy, including the hit that applied flammability, a chance to ignite the enemy equal to their flammability magnitude. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to affect sockets. How it's going to affect Infernal Legion. I'm a little bit concerned, but ultimately, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna wait and see on the Infernal Legion how it feels. I'm sure it'll still get there, and maybe it's just I have to use fire spells more actively. That could be just it. I just have to help with the magnitude to get ignites. Still kill them anyway, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. The other thing is we're getting a... where is it? Maybe I should... Okay, player minions now always hit with their attacks. Player minion and monster base maximum block chance is now 50%, previously 75%, so yeah, we're not blocking. But that's it, we weren't blocking before anyway, so... swapping weapons is now instant, so you can actually do more interesting builds. I don't do too much of that, but it'll help with the dinosaur teleportation, which is the ideal build for companions. I just don't subscribe to it because I've done it and I'm not a huge fan. But having said that, it's much more powerful now with instantaneous weapon swapping, which allows you to unsummon and resummon your mob. So the companion build is much more powerful in that regard. The basic mechanic of what is ideal with resummoning and unsummoning and desummoning and resummoning your crested behemoth is much better. We're also getting new beasts in Act 4, so there's going to be a whole bunch of new beasts to catch, and maybe they're even better than the ones we've got. I wouldn't be surprised if they are. Our ones aren't too they are too crazy, honestly. Also, I'm worried, not worried. The abyssal enemies, I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're undead, demon. I assume they're undead. But if we get beasts, like the rare mobs, when you kill the rare mobs into the thing and it becomes, the modifiers go onto it and it gets the rare mods. I wonder if we can capture those and tame something with an abyssal mod, which would be really interesting if we could have abyssal mods on our tame beasts. I suspect we can't, but I'd really like to see that. The big change with specters as well as beasts is reduced reservation is being replaced with reservation efficiency, which should apply to all things, but we'll see how that works as well. It should do that. Like, it should technically be that it's 10% reservation efficiency, and then if we have 2 of them, we have 20% reservation efficiency, which is a net gain of, I think it's like, it's a little bit. It's going to be a little bit better. Maybe. We'll see how it all unwinds, but I think it will, but you correct me with the math. I'm more than happy for you to correct me with the math. The other massive change, there's so many massive changes, is that you'll be able to use the whatever support gem multiple times. So you can use it on different skills. Which means for this build, I'll be able to take, say, like, you could argue lightning exposure, but here you could go like, oh, I'll get rid of lacerate because the dog doesn't actually hit things too often. It shouldn't hit things too often. And instead, I'll put minion mastery on both of them. And they can both be +1 level. So we get the companion rapid dog an extra level. And that's massive for health and damage, particularly on minions. And you can do that for specters. You can have a bunch of different specters and they'd all have minion mastery on them. I think this change is huge. But you can't have the same skill multiple times. The exception being companions. because we have the have two companions, and we have the tame beast, we have an exception. So my build is the exception to most things, because it is very niche. But I want to, where is it? I'm going to find, we got a 25% damage boost. Where are you? The multiple hits can stack up flammability independently, meaning that a target being hit frequently and or hard enough will consistently have 100% chance to be ignited. We'll see how that all plays out, in all honesty. So the effects which don't hit but ignite targets as though they did, such as from Incinerate or Ignited Ground, also inflict flammability, but are not able to ignite targets until the target has 100% flammability. How that works with Infernal Legion, I'm a little worried. I keep saying it, but I'm a little bit worried about the application of Infernal Legion for Ignite, but it's a real concern. We'll see how that feels when it actually releases. So that's the only thing that kind of like I'm looking, I'm reading. Unarmed got a buff, a huge buff, but I don't know if it'll still be a meme until someone works out how to break it. A lot of renaming of skills because they want to do this elemental infusion stuff. The crossbows. Reloading crossbow and switching crossbow ammunition no longer reduces the player's movement speed, will be huge. The curses. One of them's the... someone ascendancy about infinite curse rather than getting over immunity to curse. They do want curses, I think, to be less powerful, kinda. They're getting rid of flammability. Flammability is being scrapped. So it's all going to be elemental weakness. So... flammability, conductivity, and what is the cold one called? They're all getting merged together. And also the costs of everything is getting reduced by 25%. So we'll see a big reduction in mana cost. I mean, not big, but a decent one across the board. For particularly, at higher levels. Arc is changing, so it's no longer payoff. It's going to become a projectile. So... like, I didn't even notice that because I don't even think about it. Honestly, I don't think about it. Why would I think about Arc? I'll just spam it and I'm doing like 2 damage. But, yeah. So, Arc's going to have a whole bunch of different opportunities to grow as a skill and be useful and be back to what it should be, really. Solar Orb. All the orbs, you can detonate them. So, that's a good thing. Also, there's a whole bunch of elemental mixing and doing all sorts of funny stuff. I don't think Ghost Stance got nerfed. So we got lucky. Honestly. Ghost Stance isn't nerfed. Lingering Illusion is obviously not nerfed because it's trash. But there's a Plague Swarm skill they're adding that's just pretty interesting. I can't find my 25% damage boost for minions and specters. But I'm pretty sure it is there somewhere. Somewhere in the notes. Can I search? Like a proper human creature. Jesus, I don't even do that. It's there. It's there somewhere. Grim Feast. I can't believe they did that to Grim Feast though. Brought it back just as a freaking... so weird. I'll mention... I'm going all over the place. I'm jumping all over the place because that's just how I am. I'm so sorry. So back to Ritualist. Okay, so as the Whisper's Arc has notable passive skill has been removed, and as the Whisper's Demand notable has now grants. So you just get it all with as the Whisper's Demand. That just does it all. And then the Wildwood Persistence, this one, gets you 10% increased life recovery rate per 5% missing unreserved life. So it's doubled, but I wouldn't even bother talking about it. I just did. What a waste of time. Alright. So just in case you don't know, the most powerful build in the game will be Deadeye and continue to be Deadeye. But then again, every other build can do funky stuff. I'm sure there's going to be some elemental things that are absolutely insane. But I just don't like combo stuff, so I'm not going to worry about that. I keep it simple. But Deadeye is the way to go if you don't want to do that. If you just want to be like, you know, in the cool kids club, then Deadeye is the way. But I'm companion build. I'm all about the bros. We've got the whole squad. One of the other things they changed was one of the talismans that gives you increased area of effect. Presence area of effect is getting increased from 20% to 30, which is nice. Do I have one? I bet I don't. Here we go. Increased presence area of effect is getting to 30% instead of 20. But I didn't think it was on boots. I thought it was on something else. It was on a scepter, wasn't it? The scepter version. Iron runes have been nerfed. So you know how in every character, everything you've got iron runes? It's no longer going to be 50% as a total. It's going to be 36%. I think it's 18 at the maximum instead of 25. So yeah, iron runes nerfed. They don't want you to use them. They just know that everyone's using them. You know how it is with GGG. They look at the numbers, and the numbers say everyone's got iron runes, and unless they've got like actually good, like crazy shit, and it's like, oh, they just get pissed off, which I understand. But also, why wouldn't people just want the most basic upgrades? They don't have to worry. Yeah, so instead of 25% on a greater iron rune, it's 18%, which is, I think, pretty shitty. But yeah, with the deflection, which will be another affix you want to try and get, which is going to be an affix. It's not resistance. Maybe it'll be... I'm sure it'll be fine defensively, but it's like... I don't know. I think it's... I don't like it. Because I've got it on like almost everything. Except for the Chaos Res there. So it's like an immediate nerf to my character's defenses, which is like, cheers, buddy. Makes me want to change and do a different... ascendancy, a different character, a different starter point. So that's the other point I want to mention, is that I still think it's on the cards to do a Smith of the Katava summoner, but it is so expensive to get over here and to get started on your full companions. But you wouldn't have to worry about dex because you'd be armor, and you wouldn't have to, like, maybe you wouldn't even need companions gain your dex. Like, attack speed you get, and there's a bit of damage. There's like 24% damage, and then you get 16% damage. So you can just grab that after you get to like the jewel socket here, and you wouldn't have to worry about this side of it, the tree, or any of that shit. You'd just be Smithic Katavering. But then again, is it worth doing that? We'll see. Concoction got smashed again. That was really weird. I don't know why they keep doing that. It's like so it lost its ability to instant inflict shock on the shocking one, and the freeze on the freezing one, and then bleed becomes aggravated bleeding instead of the increased thing, and they just completely hate Concoction, and they destroyed it again. I don't know what the problem is. So yeah, that's all I want to say about those other builds. They're so weird. But there's definitely a 25% buff to damage to companions. I swear I saw it. It's real. Yeah, they really attacked Pathfinder with the concoctions. But Deadeye is just crazy shit. It's got like a mark aura thing. You can just freaking... Oh, it's a bit stupid. Blood Mage is an interesting change, a good positive one, a free node, so you don't have to hit the negatives as much, and you can be a bit more straight to it. Chronomancer, I'm going to question marks. Acolyte of Chayula, seems like there's interesting stuff with chaos damage, but darkness is still something. We'll see how that washes up. I think that's going to take a little bit of experimenting to work out whether that's a positive thing. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. So we're getting was it 15 new clusters to the warrior area of the passive tree, 23 new clusters to the mercenary area of the passive tree, 17 new clusters to the ranged huntress area of the passive tree, 17 new clusters to the monk. So any theory crafting, we're going to wait for the vault to be added. I'm sure that someone's already bloody done it. I'm not worried about that because I don't think they'll add any companion nodes. I suspect they won't do a single one. If they do, though, I'll be happy, but I strongly suspect they will do none. And we'll see how that goes, that prediction. I also want to mention... we've got base spell and secondary damage skills have been tweaked. We've got the banners are better. Mana cost growth of all skills has been rebalanced. Generally speaking, skills will have similar mana costs at lower gem levels, potentially slightly higher mana costs at some intermediate gem levels, and lower mana costs, sometimes dramatically lower, at gem levels higher than 20. So I hope we're talking about flammability being less than 100 mana to cast at level 15. And maybe it encourages people to get a level 20 flammability gem, as opposed to just leaving it at 15. So they'll be like, oh, if it costs me 130 mana to cast flammability at level 20, but it's 157 at level 15, then I'll just upgrade it. So it saves me some mana. We'll see. That could be a big positive. I mean, I think that'll help a lot with all spells. Like Solar Orb, 110 mana. Bugger off. Tame Beast, 155 mana for Tame Beast. It's bloody madness. So that'll be reduced, which is a massive, massive positive. Higher rarity enemies are now less affected by curses. So they really don't like curses. Like, curses have less effect, 15% less effect on magic monsters, 30% less effect on rare monsters, and 50% less effect on unique monsters. They don't like curses at all. We're getting sprint. So we'll be able to, after holding circle, instead of we continue rolling, we'll be... The Ligger illusion looks so sick. We'll be sprinting. And if you get hit while sprinting, you get knocked down and beaten up. And it's not nice. But, so there's risk reward. So you want to sprint, and then, like, I don't know, activate a skill. Block or some shit. Block is now going to work against everything. Which is going to be really, really, really big for shields. But then they've reduced the max block rolls and stuff. Made it harder to get to max block. But that said, if it applies to everything, big boon. Big boon defensively. So we're getting deflection, block, the Abyssal Trove, so the Abyss mechanic appearing, which means we'll get socketed belts, and we can do cool stuff with them. Instead of getting the Stygian Vise, though, we're getting... maybe we'll get Stygian Vises, but we'll get belts that have... it says it's a helmet. So we have a belt, and we put it on our head, because it's a helmet now. Or it's boots, or it's armor. And that means we can put on it special talisman that benefit those positions, and we can get the benefits of that. Or we can chuck on iron runes. Just to spite GGG, just chuck more iron runes on. Tell them to stick it. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, so the spirit cost of specters has been adjusted such that specters with high spirit cost are generally cheaper. While some of the cheaper specters are now more costly. I do have a spectre in my thingy we can look at, and I'll give you exactly what they're going to do. Do I have a spectre? Surely I've got spectres somewhere. What does it look like again? It's like... Maybe I don't have spectres. Am I a non-specterer? Spectre. So we have Venomous Crab Matriarch, and we have Blood Carrier. So in this case, what they'll do, Blood Carrier will probably cost, I think, 50 spirit. And the Crab Matriarch will cost 45 spirit. So they're going to try and bring everything to a middle parity ground. So they're going to take something like the... Can we get it? Can I have an uncut one? I'm going to show you examples. I just want to
disengage. Glacial.
Okay, so we'll just go over to... so also they're moving some of the skills I think its solar orb is moving, like, over here. Moving down. Just because then people can use combinations earlier and feel like their elemental stuff is actually doing shit. I want to mention... they're destroying Frost Mage. So they've decided they don't like the command Icy Explosion. Because people used it like a spell build. And so they don't like that. They want people to use cold spells. So now it doesn't do that. It does a frozen armor on your skeletons. So yeah, they said skeleton mage is bad. And they said go stuff yourself. Also, they did this thing with the brute. Where it's like... It's got like a command skill. That makes your own minions explode in like an ice thing. I don't know how that fits with the skeletal brute's, you know, archetype. I think that's just bad, but whatever. And cleric is also doing like a revive thing. It's like a protect them for 2 seconds after they're revived from not dying immediately, which is nice. Lightning as well. I think the lightning still works, but they want you to use reavers and normal skeleton warriors, and the sniper, I think, it says here, where am I? Oh, I found Spectres and Tame Beasts now deal 25% more damage at all gem levels. So let's talk about that. I do want to make the Spectre skill just real quick, and then we can go to where I think the perfect example is. Fire Spectre. Oh, Jesus. There you are. Quick move. They're also doing some UI stuff on console. Hopefully it's good. We'll see. So, let's go over to the perfect place. Act 1. Yep. Why is my freaking thing in such a weird way? Clear file. So we get Spectres. Spectres and Tame Beasts getting more damage is fantastic, but the caveat is Spectres are now going to be... The good cheap ones are not going to be cheap anymore, basically. Everything's going to be in kind of a middle ground, and I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So when we do Spectre, we have Lumbering Dead, which costs 50 spirit, and we have Rotten Wolf that costs 50 spirit. I imagine in this world that those will be reduced to like 40 spirit or less, but they won't. Reality, these will stay exactly the same. Can you bugger off, lady? I'm busy. So we need to find what's her name? There's one around here somewhere. Oh, let me press X again so you can see. Okay, so we have Vile Imps, which are 30. That price will go up. Anything that's in 20, 10, 30 range is going to go up to like 40, 50. And I imagine this is the perfect example of something that will change. Vile Hag. So the Vile Hag is 100 spirit. That'll drop to like... I would say 50 spirit, in all honesty. But that would be copium. It's going to be like 70 spirit. So it's something that's 100 spirit. It's going to go down to like 70. So you'll have things that are 130 spirit drop to like 90. They're still going to be unusably expensive. So a Vile Hag costing anything over 40 spirit is completely irrelevant, and you should not even look at it. So a lot of the Spectre stuff I think is going to be trash still. But at least we get 25% damage bonus on every level. So I really wanted to use a Spectre to complement the companions, but the price of ones that I would actually use is always just bad, and I don't even want to engage in it. So yeah, but 100 spirit for a Vile Hag is stupid, and I hope it's not just a bringing everything towards the middle, so taking the outliers at the top and the bottom and then pushing them up and down respectively and chucking it all into a middle band. And I would rather an overhaul of the practicality of the Spectre and its behavior. I know they're doing a little bit of work on monster intelligence and pathing, so hopefully that's it. Hopefully that helps the Spectres. But what they should do is standardize speed, and it should be a good speed. Like my rabid dog is crazy because it's hasted. Like it's faster than any beast we'll run into, unless they're hasted as well. Like it's probably one of the fastest beasts in the game. I would think a Vile Hag needs to be almost as fast. to be anywhere near useful. Otherwise, it's just going to be teleporting to you, doing nothing. But I don't think GGG agree with that philosophy, and they'll just keep it how it is, but they'll reduce its cost to like 70 spirit. And you'll be like, I'm not going to get a vital hack for 70 spirit. That's dumb. And GGG's like, oh, why aren't you using that Spectre? But yeah, Vile Imp will be more expensive. Like, Vile Imp is actually at a price that I think is too expensive. I think a Vile Imp should be like 10 spirit. I honestly think I would knock all the spirit cost down, the maximum being 50. For the very best thing, should be only 50. Because the spirit cost is so bad. So bad. I know I'm not on the minion side, so they can get increased spirit. I can't. But it is what it is. We'll see how it goes, reservation efficiency. I do want to keep running around killing stuff while I talk, though, because it is always more interesting than when I just stand in the hideout. Let's get rid of that. I just want to grab you. It's fine. So, they're adding new maps, which is cool. We get rid of Cruel, so there will no longer be a repeat of Act 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 again. There'll be Act 4, and then interludes 1, 2, 3. And then we'll be in Atlas maps. So that's a huge positive. Act 4 they're adding is going to be, you choose where you go. So you'll be able to go, I want to go there first, there first, there first. And it should be, until we have like an optimum route worked out in the community, it should be nice, in all honesty. I mean, I'm going to kill something real quick. We'll just go kill a monkey. But yeah, I don't like that the way they've done it is the spirit cost of Spectres has been adjusted such that Spectres with high spirit cost are genuinely cheaper, while some of the cheaper Spectres are now more costly. I don't like this middle band approach. I think it's ignoring the realities of the Spectres when people have put in a lot of work to show you every single Spectre and how it's shit. And how there's like only 3 or 4 that are actually good. Let's see if we can find the monkey. Yeah, so also, what is it? Yeah, so the 25% damage at all levels. I do want to mention what damage I have at my current level. So we have a level 33 Stoneclad Gorilla, and we're going to go advanced info, and we've got 63,000 life. That doesn't change. One of the other things is I can't go in the middle on console. I can only go to the very top and the very bottom. Please, God, fix that. Please fix this. It's one of the things that means I can't see certain stats. Like, I can't see my evasion on my beasts because it doesn't let me. Okay. Oh, I gotta switch skills. Okay. So, we gotta do inspect. I hate you so much. I can't scroll down. It's stupid. So, basic attack. We have 8,041. So, average damage per use 11,169. So, that's going to be a 25% increase. This is on level. So, I'm assuming it's just a flat 25, which is pretty good. Not that my beast has to attack too much, but it still does. So, I like that it does. One of the other things, it has a special ability. And we have the dash attack to target. It has skill, so it can actually dash, and it has a slam. But some of the beast stuff, a lot of it, they didn't actually look at the advanced info and have a look at what their abilities do. There's a lot of incomplete parts of companion builds. They still do their attacks. Maybe something will live long enough that we can see it. I doubt it, but see, look, he does his slam, which is nice. But it's like, I'd love to be able to know more details about it, but it doesn't actually show that ability. It only shows the dash. It shows, see that dash slam? It shows that ability, but it doesn't, yeah. It doesn't show the slam attack properly on it. Or it does, but it doesn't. It doesn't specifically identify that particular instance of ability, which is annoying. Now, anything else I want to mention? So, reservation skills. Reservation skills. This is the whole build. We'll just leave it. Manage. That's fine. So, reservation skills that had reduced reservation, 10% reduced, with quality now have increased reservation efficiency with quality instead. So, what this means is that it'll affect more than just itself, is my interpretation. I mentioned earlier, more than happy to be corrected on this one. So my thinking of it is that it'll help, but maybe it'll be negligible, maybe it'll be worse, which would be kind of annoying. Not that I've got many auras using any spirit anyway. I could leave Lingering Illusion on, and that would be fine. Axle projectile. Artillery ballistas has been renamed, and they got stuff going. Ball lightning, consume fire, blah, 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 blah. Bind Spectre quality now provides minions deal more damage instead of reduced reservation, which is a big nerf for Spectres. So yeah, suck it. Is what it, unfortunately. Cast on freeze and all that got a mixed. I want to talk about one thing, and then we'll finish the video because it's way too long. Let's just keep walking. Okay, so in enemy changes, this is where it matters for us here. Monster changes. So we have incrementally improved monster behavior. Hopefully that boosts companions. And we have reduced the river hag spawn in the Durand Sea, which is nice. The periodic invulnerability aura modifier now only makes things immune to damage from enemies. This might be a really important point. Unfortunately, it's right in the last 5 minutes of the video. But the point I'm making is... Let's go back to base, because I need to show you it. So now... one of the things you could do with periodic invulnerability aura, monster modifier, on a beast, is you could go through the Trial of Sekima. And you can walk through traps. And they don't do any damage to you. Because if you get the timing right of the proc or the invulnerability, then you're immune to damage. All damage. So what this has done, this change will mean that... where are you? There we go. So periodic invulnerability aura. So what it... Yeah. So now we won't be able to run through traps and run through ground effects, but it'll still help in boss fights. So I feel like it says only damage from enemies, which I think should be everything in a boss fight, but it may not be ground effects. So, but also one of the things you could do with periodic invulnerability aura is run maps with shocked ground, ignite ground, and then you wouldn't have to worry about those effects because they only affected you for a very small amount of time. But yeah, they didn't like that. So we did get one. That was our only nerf. Less the reservation versus reduced reservation. Efficiency versus reduced reservation. We'll see how that plays out. That may be a big... That may hurt a little bit, but I think we can still make it work. Alright, I think that'll do. There's a lot of stuff in this. There's a huge amount of stuff in this update. There's a bunch of bug fix stuff too. But none of it's really about companions. Not a lot about companions, except for a 25% damage buff at all levels. And like more beasts in Act 4. So we've got more interesting stuff. I'm honestly excited for the future of companion builds. And I'm interested to see with the instantaneous switching of weapons how we become even more powerful. Well, everyone's a Deadeye. I will have my beasts, and we will rule the world. Yeah, I've been rabbiting on. It's so much to talk about. Read the notes yourself too. Educate yourself. I'm just crapping on, but I'm excited for trade. I'm excited to actually have more people engage with trade. So more supply for the demand. The unique support gems they're adding, I'm not excited about those at all. Maybe there's something that makes companions better. I haven't seen them. We'll have to have a look. But that said, preliminary response for the new update is pretty damn fantastic. Oh yeah, you're dead. Alright, it's Frosty 510 talking about companion builds and the 0.3 update.